Hey there, internets. I'm Michael, and this is Toucan Play That Game, bringing you another episode of Game Night in Review, where I talk about the games me and the rest of my gaming group have been playing at Games Night. Now, please be aware these aren't fully fledged reviews, it's just kind of a brief discussion of my thoughts on these games from maybe a play or even just taking a glimpse of other people playing. So do bear that in mind. Now, with that out of the way, the games we're going to have in today's episode, and this is a big list, there was a lot being played. So there is Broom Service, Dark Moon again, that was in last Game Night in Review as well, Avalon, No Dice, Archaeology, Dragon's Hoard, and Odin's Ravens. So if you're interested in any of those, be sure to check out the rest of this video. So as always, I'm going to start with what other people were playing that I didn't get a chance to play last night. And the first game I want to talk about is Broom Service. Now, this was the Kinderspiel des Jahres winner. I didn't feel it deserved to win. I felt that Elysium should have won. But, you know, Spiel des Jahres, they go for the more family-centric. Even with their gamer category, it still always is a bit family-centric. That's the audience they're aiming at, I guess. And so it's not too surprising that they went for this. Now, I had hoped to be able to play this, but unfortunately I was late to games night and the table had filled up by the time I got there. So that was a little disappointing, but you know, there might be opportunities in the future and hopefully I will get to try it. I think if it wasn't for the fact that it had won that award though, I probably wouldn't want to try it at all. And I wouldn't go out of my way to try it. It's just if someone at Game Group brought it, it would be like, oh yeah, that won that award, oh, I'd like to try that. Now, the guys playing this were having a fantastic time, laughter galore, but the majority of it seemed to be more focused on silly names and stuff, like this strong, smelly witch or whatever. And they were finding that sort of aspect more amusing than the gameplay itself, it seemed. Now, I went over when we finished our first game, and I took a look at the board and the components, and it's all really just does not... I don't like the artwork. The board just looks like these... It looks blurry, to be honest. The way they've done the watercolouring effect, it makes it just look blurry. And I can see that this is very much designed to appeal to that family market, you know, the sort of 11, 12-year-old children market, plus the parents can play it too and gain something from it. And so I think, yeah, there's definitely that aspect. I didn't like it visually. I didn't think the components were particularly great quality. They didn't look too bad, but they didn't look fantastic either. And gameplay-wise, I like the kind of modular upping of difficulty. And I think that's particularly important in a family game like that, because you can start the children on it younger with the simpler side, and as they get to grips with that and get older and able to cope with more, you can up the game, and therefore it has more longevity. So that is a really good thing. They were sort of playing, I think, a middle level yesterday. When I went over, not really knowing... I remember I looked into this when it first came out type thing of how you actually play, and I vaguely remember it's sort of a pick up and delivery. And I went over to this table, and that's about all I remember. It was like, what is going on? I have no clue. So confused. But yeah, the people playing it said it was a good game. It was enjoyable. And so it is one that I will check out at another point. No idea on the two-player nature of that, though. But guess someone can maybe let me know in the comments. So that was the first game. The second game I'm going to talk about, because it was being played at the same time I was playing my first game, and same time Broom Service was going on, was Dark Moon. Now, this is someone's new game, and that's why it was brought last week, and I got to play it last week. And it was brought again this week. Now, obviously, I talked quite a lot about this last week, so I'm not going to go into huge detail. The guy who got it has been playing it through the week with his children. and I guess children, they were making a lot of bad decisions and things like that. So they were struggling and feeling much more threatened. And also, I guess it helps that it's fewer players than we felt when we played last week. And my understanding is they felt much less threatened this time as well, because again, they had the full player count. So that can make a big difference, I think, the number of players in this game to the level of difficulty. So that's potentially, I would say, a scaling issue there. I'm trying to remember who won in the end, if it was the infected or the uninfected. And I think it was the infected this time, so that was different. Everyone enjoyed it. Some of the people had played last week, some hadn't, and everyone was really enjoying it. The tension, it was playing very quickly. It actually played a lot quicker than last week, and I guess that's because more of the people knew it better and there was less of a learning curve going on. They actually finished in, I think it was like an hour and a half, so it really is much quicker than Battlestar, so it is good from that point of view. If you want to know more on my thoughts about it, of course, do watch my previous Game Night in Review video where I talk about that in much more detail because I was playing. So with that out the way, then the same group that were playing Dark Moon then moved on to playing Avalon, which is, to my understanding, basically the Resistance, but set in medieval setting. It's not one I've had the chance to play. I'm not a big fan of those kind of hidden role, just voting type games, but I think I would like to play given the opportunity, but I was already playing my second game when they started this. I was happy playing that. I didn't want to go, oh, actually, I just want to go play that. Sorry, guys, this game's over. Because that would be just wrong. And so, yeah, I mean, it's one I'd like to try. It's definitely a popular game, and I would say probably theme-wise, Avalon appeals more than the Resistance to me. I like the whole knights, medieval stuff, so that appeals. One I'll definitely play, hopefully, at some point. It's not a two-player game, and so it's never been a priority to try and play. So what else was there? The group that were playing Broom Service then went on to play Archaeology, which is a new reprint. I was actually surprised because I went over to the table when they were playing this, and I saw the cards and I was like, oh, is this the old version? Because the cards are so... This style of artwork is very old-fashioned, but it's been done on purpose because of the whole archaeology thing. It's not the old version. I actually have looked at a picture of the old version and gone, yeah, they really improved the artwork. So, yeah, it's old-fashioned but not nasty. And the cover of the box is really nice. I really like that image. Gameplay-wise, I don't know a huge lot about how the gameplay actually works. The guys playing it were having fun. It was very much, they kind of viewed it as a filler game, not world-changing was my understanding, but one I'll try if given the opportunity, definitely. So that is all the games that other people were playing. Let's now get on to the games that I played. So first up, we have No Dice. Now, you can see, looking at this box, this is not a retail packaging box. No, this game, No Dice, was a Kickstarter game, and the guys who did the Kickstarter, the publishers of this, actually sent me a copy of this to review ahead of their next project, so that they can kind of go, look, this is what someone said about our previous project. And so, yeah, I've been playing this a bit over the last few weeks, and I will be doing a full review on it in the not too far future. Now, last night we were playing with 4 people. The rules for this weren't great, but I think I did an okay job explaining it. People seemed to pick it up pretty quickly with me explaining it, much quicker than me and my wife did reading the rules. And the way this game works is you have cards that look a bit like a image of a dice. They've got free diamonds, and you're kind of putting those cards on the table, overlaying each other, etc., to score points, and whoever gets the most points at the end of the game wins. Now, the game ends when either everyone passes because they can't do anything, or you've used all the cards in the game, so everyone's finished out of cards. And it was interesting because one person was a clear winner. They won like over 30 points ahead of anyone else. And then everyone else was drawed. So we had 3 people with the exact same score. And it's not like they'd been staying neck and neck and same score as the game was progressing. It just ended up there on the last couple of turns and stuff. So that was very much an interesting thing. The game went down pretty well. Everyone said they enjoyed it. Everyone said component-wise not great, but I'll talk more detail about that when I do my full review. And the gameplay, though, was engaging. Now, one person said of the 2 games that she played that this was the favourite one. And I'd say they're very different games and that they fill a different void. This is very much a kind of puzzle strategy type game, and you could spend forever kind of working out your different strategies of, right, I'll build up towards doing this, or I'll do this, or I'll do this. But everyone at the table agreed the way they had been playing is the same way that I seem to end up playing every time I come to this, because I don't want to spend too long agonising about what I'm going to do. So it's literally, right, okay, here's what the board is like. These are the cards I've got. This is the one I can play this turn to get me the most points. So I think there's definitely an aspect of you can bring more strategy to this or not, as you choose. Now, this is a game you can play with 2 players, I would say. I've been playing it 2-player. For more information, you'll have to check out the review when I do that, potentially later this week or early next week. So that was the first game, no dice. Then we moved on to playing Dragon's Hoard. Now, you have to excuse the hairband, that's just to keep it shut. So this is another card game. It was definitely an evening of little light card games for me. So this one is a game where you are basically dragons trying to build up your hoard, and different treasures are worth different points. The game will end when one person has, at the end of the round, where one person has gained 10 treasures. Then whoever has the most points of treasures in front of them wins. The way you get these treasures is through set collection. So you have different colours of cards, different families, if you will, of cards, that you have to draw each turn in an almost Ticket to Ride kind of way. And then that's making up your hand of cards, and then those cards on one side have just the coloured sheep, which are what you're using to buy your treasures, and on the other side they'll either have a treasure or a special power. So there is quite a few special powers in this, and they do add to the game nicely. And the set collection aspect is interesting. It would kind of work well as almost an introduction to Ticket to Ride, with the whole having a pool of cards in front of you that you're picking from and it's refilling. It's a very simple game. It works for a lot of different people and everyone kind of enjoyed it. As I say, one person said they didn't like this as much as No Dice. Personally, I think I probably prefer this, but a big part of that is it has such gorgeous artwork. So that's Dragon's Hoard. Obviously I own this, so maybe in the future there will be a full review of it. Then the final game, because we'd had several people drop out at that point, because Dragon's Hoard we had 3 people for, No Dice we had 4 people for, so each game we lost a person. So then we ended up 2 people and we played Odin's Ravens from Osprey Games. Now, I have done a full video series on this, so if you want to know anything more about this, do check that out. I will put links to the videos in the description. And this was good fun. I was teaching one other guy to play, and yeah, it's simple to teach, simple to learn, simple to play game. Picked up, quite enjoyed it. I don't think he was blown away by it, but he did enjoy it. He's fairly new to gaming, and this was something very different for him to play. So I think this is a pretty good game. It's a quick game. It was a light filler last thing in the evening, having already played 2 games. It was like, do you want to just head off, or should we just have a game of this together? And I was quite happy to do that. Enjoyed it, and yeah, I think it was good because I actually won my first ever game of this. So obviously the key is don't play my wife. So yes, that was all the games being played at Games Night. So of course that then brings us to the end of Game Night in Review. So I do hope that you have enjoyed this video. Of course, if you have, do check out the rest of the videos in this series on the channel. And of course, subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends and family. And do also check us out on social media. We're on Facebook and on Twitter. And as always, thanks for watching and bye for now.